Varsity students can access Ministry's research info in 2 weeks. Government to support COVID vaccine recipients are facing side effects. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Now, in the next 2 weeks, the students of higher education institutions, IPT, will have access to existing information and findings of research at ministries and government agencies. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said this is an effort to strengthen artificial intelligence AI technology in the country. Datuk Seri Anwar said that access will be provided through cloud computing, coordinated by Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, MOSTI.
Melalui agensi, nanti saya minta kementerian berikan ini sekali lagi peringatan supaya students ada akses kepada agensi-agensi dan maklumat yang sedia ada. Menteri Likang ada, dia koordinat 2 minggu saya bagi. 2 minggu siap untuk semua badan-badan research dan juga yang terlibat interministry dan akan disampaikan ke semua universiti, okey?
Datuk Seri Anwar said this during Temu Anwar session as part of the Malaysia Artificial Intelligence Nexus 2024 program at the Putra World Trade Center. Now, on another note, the Prime Minister said Malaysia should move faster to build a robust ecosystem to drive the development and adoption of artificial intelligence technology. Datuk Seri Anwar said that after leading the government for a year and a half, he saw that the country's challenge was the lack of determination to explore new thinking and to do the initiative quickly.
Saya tegaskan, tidak boleh dengan pendekatan yang lama. Kalau kita rasa perlu tambah jumlah jurutera, harus ada pendekatan segera, kerana saya sebut tadi post-normal times itu menuntut dan memaksa kita membuat perubahan dengan pantas dan cepat.
The Premier also outlined the 4 cores of the ecosystem, namely AI governance, to ensure a systematic AI innovation ecosystem, AI catalyst through the Malaysia Artificial Intelligence Consortium to ensure coordination in the field of education, development, and AI application, AI industry which will see collaboration with multinational companies, and AI talent that includes professionals and skilled individuals through education and training programs, as well as industry collaboration with academia. The government will be responsible for providing treatment to patients who suffered side effects from the COVID-19 vaccines, including vaccines produced by AstraZeneca. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the government had the mechanism to provide necessary assistance for those suffering adverse effects from the COVID-19 vaccines.
Apa yang kita mahukan, pastikan adalah kalau ada pun sesiapa yang ada terbukti evidence base akan terkait dengan vaksin AstraZeneca itu, kita memang punya cara untuk memastikan mereka diberikan pertolongan bantuan. Memang ada kaedah kita untuk government akan bertanggungjawab to see through perawatan mereka. Itu jaminan yang diberikan oleh kerajaan.
Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli was responding to the Consumer Association of Kedas a call for the ministry to focus on the treatment of patients who suffered side effects from the COVID-19 vaccines. He was also reported as saying earlier that Malaysia had sought clarification from AstraZeneca on the matter in relation to the side effects of its COVID-19 vaccine, as reported by foreign media recently. This comes after the pharmaceutical firm's admission in a court document that its COVID-19 vaccine could lead to a rare blood clotting side effects. The proposal by American marine robotics company Ocean Infinity to resume the search for Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, which vanished en route to Beijing 10 years ago, will be presented to the Cabinet in August.
Kertas kabinet belum naik lagi. Jadi perlu ada masa sebab kita perlu kertas cadangan yang terperinci daripada mereka, baru kita boleh sediakan kertas kabinet. Bulan Ogos.
Ogos sedia
Ya.
kertas ke atau
Ogos naik kepada kabinet. Bulan Ogos untuk masuk ke kabinet untuk dipertimbangkan.
Earlier, Transport Minister Anthony Locke was reported as saying that the company had submitted a proposal along with the latest evidence and information for review by relevant authorities under the ministry to revive the search for MH370. Dewan Negara Presiden Datuk Mutang Tagal died at the National Heart Institute IJN in Kuala Lumpur at 11:46 a.m. today. The matter is confirmed by the Dewan Negara President's Office. According to the statement issued by the office, the family of the late Datuk Mutang wishes to convey their sincere thanks for the condolences, prayers and support offered to them during this difficult time. Datuk Mutang is survived by his wife, Datin Ho Mei Leng, and 3 children. Datuk Mutang began receiving treatment at IJN shortly after arriving from Azerbaijan on 6th of May, following a working visit that started on 29th April and returning earlier than scheduled. The Senate President had led a Malaysian delegation to attend the World Forum on Intercultural Dialogue held from 1st to 3rd May in Baku. On 19th February, Datuk Mutang was appointed as the 20th President of the Dewan Negara, replacing Tun Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, who relinquished the post following his appointment as the Yang di-Pertua Negeri of Sarawak. Still ahead in our business segment, increase palm oil industry players' income by leveraging on technology. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim urged palm oil industry players to reduce the use of foreign labour. Instead, he hopes that they can increase their income and avoid deforestation by leveraging on technology. The Premier said this during his working visit to the operating site of Saim Dabi Plantation Berhad at Carey Island in Klang. According to Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani, the Premier also urged palm oil industry players to support and use technology developed by startup companies. He said they can focus on the usage of mechanization, automation and digitalization technologies to reduce foreign labour in the future.
Dia telah invest banyak teknologi-teknologi yang menyebabkan mechanization itu bagus. Jadi lagi tinggi kita meningkatkan mechanization ni, lagi kurang kita punya tenaga buruh yang diguna pakai dalam plantation kita. Kemudian kita meningkatkan kita punya teknologi dan kita menggunakan kurang tenaga buruh asing, dan cuma apabila yang melibatkan 3D saja kita akan guna mereka.
Bursa Malaysia's all-time high indicates measures under the Madani framework are building investors' confidence. Finance Minister too, Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan said, coming on the back of a strong show of resilience amidst the ongoing geopolitical tensions, this performance is a testament to the strength of the country's market and economy. Bursa Malaysia's key index, the FTSE Bursa Malaysia KLCI, FBM KLCI, recently breached 1,600 points, the highest level in 2 years, with the bourse achieving an all-time high of 2 trillion ringgit in market capitalisation. Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah said, the development of Malaysia's capital market reflects a commitment to fostering growth, innovation and resilience in the financial sector, positioning Malaysia as a leading destination for investment and capital market activity. The minister said multiple strategies and initiatives that the government has rolled out to continue work in tandem to realise the key targets under the Madani economy. This includes, among others, the National Energy Transition Roadmap, the National Industrial Master Plan 2030 and key economic reforms under the 2024 National Budget. Public-private partnerships should be enhanced as this system has been proved to be effective as a catalyst for the country's development. Its implementation has also provided many benefits to the government and the people. Citing the establishment of the Menara Central Rail Assets Corporation (RAC) as an example, Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the public-private partnership projects have succeeded in helping to save government spending and at the same time provide better public facilities in a shorter period.
Jadi banyak perkara yang kita kalau boleh bekerjasama dengan pihak swasta, ini adalah pendekatan yang paling cepat dan paling baik dan kita alu-alukan penglibatan pihak sektor swasta.
The Menara Central RAC is a joint venture project between the Rail Assets Corporation and Arah Asas Sendirian Berhad, who wholly own subsidiary of YTL Corporation Berhad. Bank Negara Malaysia BNM is expected to maintain the overnight policy rate OPR at 3% throughout this year. Kenanga researchers said BNM is likely to maintain its policy rate unchanged for the rest of the year to support domestic growth while keeping inflation in check. Kenanga researchers said the upside risk on the inflation outlook remains tilted to the upside, particularly due to the potential impact of the targeted subsidy mechanisms, which could increase price pressure if the government decides to float the fuel price at market rates. Additionally, the announcement of a wage hike for government servants in December, along with the new Employees Provident Fund's EPF Account 3 initiatives, is expected to support strong domestic demand in the coming months. Nevertheless, Kenanga Research said growth remains vulnerable to external risks, including heightened geopolitical tensions, China's fragile recovery, and a slower technology upcycle. Hence, BNM may prioritize growth with its 4 to 5% target. The research house expects BNM to maintain its neutral stance for an extended period to support sustainable growth while monitoring potential risks to inflation and growth. The Industrial Production Index (IPI) increased by 2.4% year-on-year in March, spurred by the expansion in all sectors. Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzir Mahidin said the IPI remained positive, albeit at a slower rate in March compared to the 3.1% growth recorded in the preceding month. He said the increase was spearheaded by the expansion in the manufacturing sector, which grew by 1.3%, up from 1.2% in February. In the meantime, the mining and electricity sectors registered 4.9% and 7.8% respectively. In comparison with the preceding month, the IPI turned around to 7.5%, contrasting with the negative 6.3% recorded in the previous month. The export-oriented industries rebounded to 0.5% in March from negative 0.2% in February, primarily led by the manufacture of computer, electronics and optical products, as well as the manufacture of coke and refined petroleum products. Meanwhile, the domestic-oriented industries recorded a modest 3.1% growth compared to 4.1% in February, attributed to the manufacture of fabricated metal products, except machinery and equipment, the manufacture of other non-metallic mineral products, and the manufacture of food processing products. The number of labour force for the first quarter of this year was an upward trend, up by 0.3%, recording 16.96 million persons. The Department of Statistics Malaysia, or DOSM, said the labour force participation rate, LFPR, increased by 0.1 percentage points to 70.2% versus 70.1% in the fourth quarter of last year. The number of employed persons, meanwhile, edged up by 0.3%, registering 16.4 million persons during the first quarter compared to 16.35 million persons in fourth quarter 2023. Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzir Mahidin said the unemployment rate in the first quarter remained unchanged at 3.3% as in the last quarter. He elaborated that for March, the number of unemployed further decreased to 566,600 persons compared to 567,000 in February. Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzair also highlighted that the number of employed persons continued its upward trend, marking a month-on-month increase of 0.1% to 16.53 million persons as against 16.51 million persons recorded in February. Regarding the unemployment rate and LFPR by state, Pulau Pinang had the lowest unemployment rate among all states during the first quarter of this year, followed by Kedah, Perlis, Selangor and Putrajaya. The rental supply index in the first quarter of 2024 saw an unexpected uptrend of 31.3% growth year-on-year due to various factors, including improved property conditions, increased demand in certain areas, or changes in the local real estate market. In its property market report for first quarter 2024, Property Guru said this trend highlights the complexity of market dynamics where counterintuitive trends can occur even amidst a declining demand. The report noted that the rental demand index for residential properties recorded a decline of 11% quarter-on-quarter due to seasonal festivities which typically affect rental activity at the start of the year. Property Guru Malaysia Country Manager Kenneth Soh said, while demand and supply figures suggest a period of adjustment, the market's resilience and the nature of these shifts provide a cautiously hopeful outlook. He said the balance between supply and demand is evolving, and with careful navigation, the rental market could maintain its stability. This would continue to attract property investment from buyers looking to enjoy good rental yields, especially in areas showing faster economic growth and those with infrastructure developments in the pipeline. All right, now we move on to the next segment on the table. Over to you, Mohana.
Thank you, Shu. Good evening. On the table tonight, we look at the transformative potential of generative artificial intelligence, or Gen AI, in education. To help us unpack this topic, we have Professor Dr. Avtar Darshan Singh, the UNESCO Chair of Innovative Digital Learning, Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation, APU. Welcome, Prof.
Thank you, Mana.
Prof, before we get into the questions proper, could you perhaps tell me how you got into innovative digital learning and AI?
Oh, yes, sure. It's very historical. Mm-hmm. It was an outcome of my PhD research, which I did in e-learning 20 years ago.
Wow.
I was very involved in student-centered learning using computers in the classroom.
Okay.
Because I was changing gears so often in the classroom as a teacher, mm-hmm. I felt that no one could survive this kind of environment where you have to be so involved in the teaching. Mm. So my recommendation was to use neural networks and artificial intelligence to support teachers in the teaching and learning process using technology.
And this was way back 20 years?
20 years ago. I waited that long for this technology to come to our shores.
Right.
And so I'm so excited about what is happening now because this is like a dream come true for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Prof, can you explain to us what is generative AI and how would you explain generative AI to someone who's not very familiar with this concept?
Sure. We have all heard about big data.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's been there for many years now. Mm-hmm. People have been talking about big data and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So now this big data now has converged, and there's been so much that the coders have been able to now code into and tap into the big data to support new content creation. Mm-hmm. So it's so much that computers or artificial intelligence can now tap into this and now recreate this. Okay. So generate, that's why the generative AI, yeah? So generate new content.
Okay.
And this content can be generated in various formats, mm-hmm. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Of course, the most basic that a lot of us are quite familiar with is text.
Yes.
And of course, and again, ChatGPT is something that is very familiar to many people, mm-hmm. At least those who are, in the realm of education at the higher levels. So But at the same time, we can generate, and this is like it's a very creative way of generating. You know, it is not like a Google search.
Yeah.
We are so used to Google search, right? But this is something called prompt engineering. We prompt the AI to respond to our needs.
Right.
Now, with this, we actually, teachers, educators, are now able to become more efficient. I feel very efficient.
Okay.
I feel like there's always an assistant next to me who can help me, you know, to progress faster in terms of creating content. Various contents, you know, teachers need to create content that is graphical, you know, that video format, audio format. So with generative AI, with just typing normal language, you can speak to kind of a robot, to help you to move along with your daily processes.
Right. So it's like having a virtual assistant in the classroom.
Exactly.
Okay. So besides that, what are the other exciting trends that you're seeing in relation to education when it comes to generative AI? Are there other exciting things on the horizon?
Yes. For example, moving forward, there are a couple of things that could happen with the use of generative AI in education.
Okay.
For example, you may have a whole lot of examination questions, assessment questions being created and being used in a very personalized way to attend to our students' needs.
Okay.
See, we generally teach to the average child in the classroom.
Yes.
Yeah? And this has not changed since our smart school days.
Yeah.
But we have been propagating this, you know, that we need to be personalized, we need to be adaptive in terms of reaching the student needs.
That's right.
But I think with generative AI, we can now start tapping into the availability of this huge data sets, and we can then tune it to be more personalized and adaptive to our students. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one thing that it's time consuming, you know. So that's why a lot of teachers have not gone into just making lessons more personalized to their students, because it really takes up so much of time if you were to do it manually.
That's right.
So with generative AI, then we can churn you know, thousands of questions around, you know, and then we can design our lessons in such a way that they are tuned to the different needs of the students.
Okay, and this also means that you don't need a huge staff. You can work this way with less people, less teachers, or the same number of teachers who can do more things now.
I can give you an example on that. For example, if we want to create videos for our students, students videos that are more culturally tuned, they are more tuned to our own sets of behaviors, our needs. Previously, I mean, I've been in the edtech field for almost more than 30 years.
Yes.
So I've seen the changes in the creation of digital content. Previously, we used to take 3 to 4 days to create just one video. Just a 5 to 10 minute video to use it in our classrooms.
That's right.
But today, with generative AI and the teachers that we have trained, we have seen them doing it. The exciting thing is we have trained teachers in quite rural areas in Malaysia. We've gone to Gua Musang, we've gone to Kuching, we have gone to Miri, and we have seen how it has transformed their thinking now. You know that I can create. So in our training, within 15 to 30 minutes, most teachers can create a 1 minute video.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Now, Prof, I want to ask you about an event that's upcoming. Malaysia will be hosting the first ever ASEAN Stakeholder Summit on Generative AI for Education.
Right.
And this is just coming up next week. Now, why is this summit important?
Yes, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, I would like to talk a bit more about the ASEAN Summit. We are glad the APU UNESCO chair has been given the mandate to host this summit, and in discussion with CMIO.
Okay.
And we are getting delegates from at least 30 countries. Apart from the 11 ASEAN countries, we are getting experts from other countries as well.
Yeah.
Now, this is important because there are a couple of challenges that we have identified in our training. Actually, we are really on the ground. We have trained more than 4,000 educators in 15 countries now.
Okay.
So from the ground, we have seen the challenges ourselves.
Right.
For example, I went to Laos, and their main challenge was they couldn't access ChatGPT at all. So it was quite difficult for us to then they have access to technology, but they didn't have access to the apps, the Gen AI apps.
Right.
Yeah.
So the idea behind this summit is to put everybody on par to move at the same
and to
pace?
move along with the UNESCO SDGs of inclusivity and equity. Yeah.
Okay.
So we felt that now it's time for us to get people together, you know, so that we can learn from each other in the ASEAN countries.
Okay.
So we saw that disparity.
Yeah.
Whilst in Malaysia, I think we are very lucky that we have so much access to technology. I think we take hats off to our political leaders, our decision makers, our policy makers for going in that manner.
Okay, who are the stakeholders who will be present at this summit?
Oh, okay, yeah. So our biggest stakeholders will be the educators from both the schools and the universities. Yeah, we also have NGOs coming on board. Like, for example, UNESCO will be one big NGO, and Commonwealth of Learning will be another big NGO that will be experts. Yeah, we also have policymakers. We have people from the ministry. We have AgTech. The AgTech sector that will also co-participate with us. So all this, and students too.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so all these stakeholders will converge at the Asia Pacific University.
All right.
We're having close to 200 delegates, 120 that will participate completely, and the rest will give the support in terms of the discussions that will go on.
And the idea is to come up with a collective roadmap.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think the roadmap is quite important because we have just started to see the growth of the use of generative AI.
Right.
So how far, and how soon do we want countries in the ASEAN region to catch up with each other, yeah? And I think this roadmap will provide some recommendations, some solutions.
Okay.
And especially for teachers and students, we are very particular about this set of people because suddenly now we have a cheap or affordable alternative.
Right.
You have heard about advanced countries that always have teacher aids.
Yes.
We can't afford that, but now we can afford this, yeah? And we are very hopeful that it will at least enhance the quality of teaching and learning in the classroom.
And on that note, Prof. Apta, I'm afraid we have run out of time.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So we hope to have you again in the future, and we wish you all the best for the summit next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that wraps up On the Table tonight. I've been speaking to Professor Dr. Aptar Darshan Singh from the Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation. From Shuhaida Arifin and me, Mohana Priya. Thanks for watching. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Good night.